What up, Puck Squad, and welcome to the second week of the Monday Night Match Play League that I'm running here at Borderland State Park in Easton, Massachusetts. This is a 13-hole match play league because we start at 5:30 and the park closes at 8 o'clock. Tonight we are playing the blue to blue layout, and we have a really fun card. Daphne versus Amanda, and Caroline versus Hallie. 5 through 17 is going to be the feature card on the vlog. It's going to be Steven versus Mark and Q versus Jimmy Disc Golf. 7 to 1, it's going to be the battle of the Dans, Dan L versus Dan C, and Matt Bishop versus Mike Mahoney. 10 to 4 is a solo twosome between Mahoney and Mason.
Yep.
That's also a battle.
Alright, so you can come look up here where you're starting, who you're playing against. So if you didn't hear there, on feature card we have Steven versus Mark in the A pool and Jimmy Disc Golf versus Q in the B pool. Here we have Steven leading us off on hole 5. We will be playing holes 5 through 17 here on the feature card. Hole 5 plays as a par 4, pretty straightforward. You got a couple gaps you can hit. Mark opts for the backhand. And there's really just a few trees that you want to beat there, and he sneaks right through both of them, and that's a great first drive to start the day with. Here we have Q lining up a forehand shot. Catching a tree there on the left side. And Jimmy Disc Golf also lining up a forehand shot. Hits the line but turns a little bit more to the left than he would have wanted, but did get pretty much full flight. Tonight we had 26 people for Match Play League, which is a record, which was just really cool to see when I pulled up.
Oh, really?
Q's upshot gets a little bit of a flare skip to the right and just short of the river. We actually do have a second camera out here tonight. Mark lent his camera to Teddy to use as a catch cam, so look forward to some catch cam shots coming up throughout the episode.
Even with the leafies.
Jimmy a little bit off balance there, but able to get himself up there for a putt for a 3. And like I said, this is a par 4. I think it's about 475, 480 feet, so pretty straightforward par 4. Mark with a pretty easy up and down there, kind of a little eagle bid. Q from the woods looking to see if he can get something going, but kind of just scrambling up and down this fairway to start today. Steven with a nice, 30-foot tester putt to start, and Mark was a little bit closer there, tapped in for his 3, and Steven had to hit that, 25, 30-footer for his 3, so good putt to start there for Steven. Jimmy taps in his 3. Takes a point there. So Mark and Steven push with birdies, and Jimmy takes a point with a birdie there. Heading into hole 6. Kind of a tough shot. There's a telephone pole with some wires that are kind of right in the middle of the gap. You kind of just got to pick your poison and choose your side. Steven goes with the turnover forehand up the left side, which is a good shot because you never take your eyes off the target, which is what I prefer to do when I hit tight gaps. Mark throwing his backhand just a little bit inside and just catches a tree there and falls down, but I think it fell pretty straight down, giving himself a look up the left side of the fairway. Jimmy taking a very unconventional route here. This route is called the drama route, and typically it is taken just in the winter time, but you can see why, because in the summertime this place is an absolute jungle and there's a lot more leaves to get through, but he did make it all the way through.
I can't believe I saw 2 of those that good out of 4.
Q also has a really good forehand turnover line there up the middle left.
Would you even look at this line right here on the right?
Mark kind of deciding which way to go, right or left, maybe right on a little hyzer flip, but decided to go left side on a little turnover shot, trying to poke himself through onto the green.
Nice, I probably hit my line, but I got on the green.
Here's Q from the right side of the fairway, just kind of tucked away, doing a little forehand shot. Looks like he caught a little bit of trees there right out of his hand, but still left himself like a 25, 30-footer, a little bit downhill for his birdie putt. Steven also maybe adjusting a little bit there and getting a little bit more juice and puts it right under the basket. Here's Jimmy from his drive, and that is an absolutely crazy drive to even have like an eagle look like that. Q puts in his putt for a birdie, which is really nice to see. Good putt to kind of get himself moving a little bit at the beginning of the round there. Here's Mark also trying to put himself in for birdie from probably about 35 feet. Leaves it just a little bit low. That would have pushed the hole with Steven. Here's Jimmy, also tap in his birdie putt. And I think that disc rotated at least 1 time, maybe 3 times, but That is an unfortunate spit out to see. Kind of give some life to Q there and give Q the point early on. They're really good friends, so they're going to laugh it off and kind of just move on. In this episode's 60-Minute Club, I will actually be grabbing a random disc from my stack of discs, and I randomized this little stack of discs, and this yellow one actually stuck out to me, so as I grabbed it, I realized that it was a C-Line DD2. And I know they're not making the DD2 at the moment. I'm not sure if they have any plans to bring the DD2 back in the future, but if you want a chance to win this DD2 and you're here within the first 60 minutes of this video being uploaded, make sure to drop a hashtag 60-Minute Club in the comments to be eligible to win this disc. Yada yada yada, 60-Minute Club, back to disc golf. Here we have Steven on hole 7, lining up an absolute smash. And I wonder what disc he threw here. It looked like a destroyer or something of the sorts, but he absolutely smashed this through the gap, and it got a nice forward skip, probably about, I don't even know, 100 feet short of the basket, and it's, I think, 400 plus, 425 feet to get through that gap. So that was an absolute smash. I think Mark was throwing his Cloudbreaker 3 here and just turned it over just a little bit too much. Here we have Q lining up a forehand shot. Typically you see the forehand players lay their shot into the gap here rather than try to bite around it, because it would be a huge forehand turnover shot to try to get through that gap. So just try to get yourself in front of it and leave yourself with an upshot to the basket. Here we have Jimmy opting for the backhand roller. I'm not sure how much cut he wanted on that, but it turned over a little bit quicker than he would have liked. I don't know if he maybe wanted more cut or maybe a different disc selection, but still ended up in the fairway, giving himself a look for an up and down. Mark stayed in the fairway as well here. You can see he threw a little hyzer flip up. Maybe didn't flip up as much, or maybe didn't give as much disc as he wanted, but ended up short, and just short of the OB actually, which was a lucky break to have. Watching Jimmy, you see him throw a lot of unconventional shots, and here he's going roller into a tomahawk, which ended up going a little bit long and hit the wall of trees and ended up falling down. Here Q's lining up a turnover forehand, which is a really technical shot from where he was standing. And from catch cam, you can see it kind of just flashed right by the basket and left himself like an 18 to 20 footer for birdie, which is a really, really good shot from where he was. That little garden you see on the left side there is OB, so you want to steer clear of that on your approaches and on your drive if you're able to get around the corner. There's Steven with a little chip around the corner, and here's Mark for his birdie look actually from about 100. Oh, and he wanted to run that one in, and it just barely tickled chains. What a good bid. Here's Jimmy for his 3 from around the corner, opting to go 60 feet into the air. Nice little flop shot.
Could maybe miss the putt, and I want to make him make it.
And Q from the behind the basket for a 3. And what an awesome 3 that is. Forehand off the tee for a placement shot, and then an awesome turnover forehand to get yourself all the way long of the basket. That is really, really impressive, to be honest. And there's Jimmy tapping in a 4. Nothing wrong with a 4 there, but you kind of got to tip your cap to a 3 when someone takes a 3 on you there. Kind of like what happened there as well. Steven takes a 3, takes a point on Mark, and Q takes a 3 and takes the lead on Jimmy. Heading into hole 8, there is a rock wall that you cannot land before, or else it is OB. So you do have to get all the way over the gap on this hole to be considered safe. Steven went the left side, which is a little bit longer to get to the rock wall, a little bit scarier, and Mark's opting to go the right side here. Mark likes to play the safe shot and then have a straight look at the basket rather than take the harder shot into play off the tee. I'd say this line kind of favors a forehand player a little bit more. Similarly to 6 earlier, it's kind of easier to keep your chest facing the target, easier to keep your eyes on the target when you're hitting a really tight gap, especially when there's danger like OB and, you know, tight trees throughout the way.
Yeah, that felt really good.
Jimmy also hits his gap there, so forehanders kind of put on a clinic on that forehand line, and Mark goes safe route. Let's see if Mark can kind of get up and down for his birdie here. Threw something really flippy, because you could tell he threw that on a lot of hyzer, and it just flipped up and glided. Did catch that late tree, but stayed in bounds and give himself a putt for a 3. Steven a little bit out of position, a little bit off balance, and just trickles into that OB that's short of the green. Tough.
Oh, right at it.
Q kind of just can't really get himself out of that tough spot from the right side of the fairway. And here's Jimmy from his drive. Easy up and down there for a little jump putt. Kind of a little bit of a run, but looked like he was more so trying to secure the birdie. And Q kind of had to hit that because Jimmy's, putting for 3 from just a couple feet away, and there's no need to not try to run that, because if Jimmy hits his 3, then there's no point in taking a 4 on the hole. Steven also missing his 4 because of his OB stroke, and Mark tapping in his 3 there to take the stroke on this hole, and Jimmy tapping in his 3 there to also take the stroke on this hole. So Steven's now 1 up, and the B-pool match is at even. Hole 9, big dog leg to the right. Probably one of the softest par 4s on the entire course, but as long as you get a clean drive out there and through the line of trees, you should be looking at a good upshot. And Mark almost puts that to the base of the white pin, which is the shorter layout here at Borderland. Steven opting for the more traditional route. If you have the forehand, it does play the line a little bit better. Sneaks through there and also lands in a very similar spot to Mark. Jimmy also going with the forehand here. His looks a little bit earlier, but does sneak through the line of trees. Steven played it a little bit longer and kind of came through the end of the gap, but Jimmy kind of snuck through the early section of the trees there. See if Q can also follow the forehand line, and kind of follows Jimmy's line a little bit more and goes through that early gap. And here we're looking at another hole of match play players, and I think that was Seth that chained out a little bit there. You got Moser, Seth, I think Kevin Coolig, and Jeffy on that card. Here's Jimmy's upshot. Oh, almost landed to the left of that rock wall, which would have been OB, but stayed in. Probably left himself about 40 feet.
Do you think so?
When you hit that putt, it will.
Oh, yeah. If I hit that putt. Just kidding.
Q kind of hyping him up a little bit, saying when he hits that putt, it's going to look nice on camera. Here's Mark for his upshot, and nice and easy, nestles it up there, probably about 15 feet.
I like the part where you got on the green.
Thank you.
Here's Steven from a similar spot, opting with the forehand this time. And does catch that tree, which, you seems like you're going to hit that tree and still have a putt, but usually you don't have like a 30-foot tester, so see what his putt's looking like as we get up to the green. And that came out of Q's hand really nice, but he also hit that same tree that Steven hit. And here we have that 30-foot tester that I was talking about. And Q just leaves it a little bit high there. Steven also leaves it a little bit high there, and whenever that happens to me, I'm always like, Q, if you hit your putt, I would have hit my putt, but you never know. So 2 good bids there, both high, and Jimmy rings it up with a little stepper from like 40 or 45.
When you hit that putt, it will.
Oh, yeah.
A little flashback to when Q just said it'll look good on camera when you hit that putt, and he does end up hitting the putt. Nice 3 there, Jimmy. Here's Mark for his 3 to take a point on Steven and even up the match. About 15 feet. Nice little tap in, dead center. So now we got the A-pool match sitting at even, and we have Jimmy now 1 up. Got a lot of movement happening early on. Here's Ted running the camera down to the catch cam position. Haven't been able to use too many of the shots, but when they come in nice. Here's Mark. Definitely more inside than he would have liked there. I think after that he threw that, he had wished he threw the hyzer line on the right side, but hindsight is 20/20. Here's Steven throwing the forehand turnover, and didn't quite turn it over as much, but maybe that was a good tree, because if he didn't hit that tree, he might have went OB. Here we have Jimmy, big turnover line, and I think this was at risk of going out of bounds. Here we also have Q going big turnover line. And speaking of going out of bounds, all these forehanders kind of bringing the OB into play. And Q actually did sneak over the OB line there and went OB, so he'll be throwing from 3 from wherever he went over the rock wall. Here's Mark from the rough, and all he wanted to do was get to the rock wall to have like a 70-foot look for par, but that was a really tough scramble shot. Here's Steven, once again, off balance, little straddle leaner, forehand shot. I think that's one of the most, helpful shots in all of disc golf. Helps shave so many strokes off your round, especially when you're playing in wooded courses like New England has. Okay, that was Q's 3, so now he's putting for 4. Here's Mark putting for 3. Pretty much has to make this. Steven's pretty close.
Oh, it's too high.
Gives it a good run, but just high, just left.
Don't leave it short.
And Jimmy did end up going OB, so this is also for his 3. And gets caught up a little bit and falls probably 25 feet short. So now he's got a 25-footer for bogey here that you see him lining up. Got the sun peeking through the trees. It's a beautiful evening and does hit it. Puts the pressure here on Q to hit his 4 now. But that was a good up and down kind of scramble bogey save there for Jimmy.
Oh, we got him!
Q just left it a little bit low. And coming from experience, you know, the camera was set up pretty much directly behind the basket. I'm sure he's paying attention to the camera a little bit, had a little bit of jitters going on there. Not to speak for him, but have seen that happen in the past before. Steven takes the point there, and Jimmy also takes the point there. So Steven is now 1 up, and Jimmy is now 2 up, heading into hole 11. Another tough par 3. Holes 10 and 11 are 2 really hard par 3s that are back-to-back, and most of us locals are just playing these holes for 3. They are both 400 plus feet and just have really, really hard lines to be able to get yourself up there for birdie. Jimmy tried the roller, but it did kind of pan out way too far to the right. Q's opting for the backhand and smokes it, but a little bit too straight there. Not really going to have an actual birdie look.
No, it's his finger.
Got tendonitis in it.
Q explaining why he hasn't been throwing many backhands lately. I guess he's dealing with some tendonitis in his finger. I think it's his right index finger, so it's tough to hear. Steven lining up a bomb with that same disc that it looks like he threw on hole 7. Very similar flight. Not sure what his look will be, but probably going to be, you know, 40, 50 feet out, maybe 60 feet out. It's really hard to get all the way left to the basket on this hole. Here's Mark, maybe also lining up that Cloudbreaker 3, that red driver that he throws.
You know what, dude? I think it's a manufacturing problem.
Getting a little bit of flack over the flaps on the fabric on his shoes. Not sure what they are. They calling it a little cape.
What's going on?
Got a little Jack sighting. Always good to see him. And Kayla, not to mention Kayla.
Did he do it, though?
Jimmy from the rough. Nice high forehand stall shot. Puts it right next to the basket. Here's Mark from a knee. See if he can get up and down. Maybe give it a run. And puts it right next to the basket as well. And you can see this basket's just tucked away really far to the left, and it is behind this big bush, so it's just a really hard pin position to get to. And speaking of hard position to get to, here's Q almost ringing it up from like 80 feet out, drawing metal on the front of the cage. And yeah, Steven's like a good 70, 80 feet out as well. It's really just so difficult to get all the way over there for a putt. And all the boys are going to clean up their par putts here. Nothing too special. It's pretty average to get a par on here. As long as you get out of the gap, most of the upshots are pretty straightforward hyzers, either a backhand hyzer to the right or a forehand hyzer around to the left, depending on where your drive lands. But we are moving on to hole 12. The gap there that you see is probably a good 250 feet off the tee, maybe 225, but it's really far away, and it's just a really tough gap to hit. It's pretty intimidating, to be honest, when you first start playing the blue layout. This is one of the holes that always sticks out to me as one of the holes that I remember being just really hard and intimidating when you're newer to the blue layout.
Nah, it's not good. It's not OB.
Opting for a couple rollers here. I used to try this play as well. You get through the gap on a roller. It does filter over towards the basket the right direction. Steven going for the air shot. Kind of leaves it a little high right. Maybe poke through a little bit. Here's Mark. Patented little turnover shot.
Oh, boy.
Trying to sneak through, but does catch a tree there and falls just short of the rock wall. Here's lined up with a pretty good gap, but he is like patent pending, like really straddled out backwards right now. And this is a really, really tough shot. I don't know what disc he threw there, but it was something slow enough to hold that glide and hold that turn. And for as many times as I've played this hole, that is one of the best shots that I've seen from that position, getting all the way up and down for a look at a birdie still. Steven was completely out of position. I couldn't even film where he was because of how rough it was around us, but he threw a high stall forehand out of the gap and actually put himself to like 25, 30 feet, which was also absurd. Jimmy throws a roller upshot to the basket, and here we have 3 amazing upshots that you've seen. I mean, you didn't really see Stevens, but good result on Stevens. This is actually Q's 3rd shot. I missed his 2nd shot short of the rock wall, but that was his 3rd shot, so he'll be putting for par. Here's Jimmy. And that would have been a crazy birdie from that roller upshot. And speaking of crazy birdies, here would be a crazy birdie. And I can't even describe to you what his lie looked like inside of the woods there. I've landed there so many times on a forehand that either got sawed off or just a shank like you saw him have, and he was somehow able to get up and out and get close enough for a putt and saves his birdie. Push the hole with Mark, who also had a really miraculous shot to give himself a birdie. So the A-Pool boys are just doing what it takes right now to get some birdies and take points on each other. Jimmy catches a tough break there on the tee of hole 13 and kicks all the way to the right and kicks OB. So all Q really needs to do here is hit the fairway and stay in bounds.
Turn more. Turn more.
Which he does. So now he's just going to get up and down for his three, and barring Jimmy throwing it in from the rock wall, he should be able to take a point on this one. There's Steven lining it up nice and straight, probably something like a fairway driver. Hits the tree and does kick down to the left. And here's Mark. I think he's throwing like a halo. Yeah, it looks like one of his halo sidewinders possibly, but looks nice and straight. Nice little flip up the middle. Got a flare skip up there. And here's Jimmy from the rock wall from the OB. Tries to kind of tomahawk up and over, but like I said, he's got to pretty much put that in because, yeah, Q's just, 70 feet out with a wide open look, so just kind of got to get up and down for his three here to take a point. And gives it a little soft run. There's no need to go crazy on that one. Here's Steven. Ooh, right height. Just looks like a little bit right of the basket. And Jimmy, maybe to put a little pressure on Q, and does hit the pole, but wouldn't have really changed much. Here's Mark for birdie. And sneaks it in there just over the basket. That is a great birdie. We have seen a lot of birdies from this A-Pool, guys, whether it's pushes, whether it's taking points on each other. They have definitely been scoring a lot of birdies on this blue-to-blue layout. So the A-Pool match is back to even, and Jimmy is now 1 up. Here at hole 14, kind of like hole 8, you have to make it over that rock wall that you see. And Q did make it over the rock wall, but he did get hung up and hit a tree and kind of fell down there. Jimmy throwing a smooth flip-up forehand up the middle and gets one of those nice kisses off a tree.
That was nice.
Bunk. There we go.
A little bunk. This is a par 4, it's kind of similar to hole 9, a really soft par 4. The entire blue-to-blue layout is a par 68, and I'm sure we could probably get away with dropping that par to like a par 65, or depending on how hard we want to go, maybe even a par 63 or 62. But some of these par 4s are pretty soft, and I guess it depends on the OB that we have and kind of how tight the line is and stuff like that. But hole 14 here on the blue layout is a par 4, and it is seen to be eagled, but with that rock wall and with how tight this line is, you definitely see your fair shares of 4s and maybe even 5s if you go OB off the tee. Couple clean drives. Here's Q with his little forehand turnover upshot. Kind of the same thing here with Steven, a little touchy forehand upshot to get himself up to the green. And this is Jimmy lining up an eagle putt from like 80, 90 feet. Just leaves it just over the basket to the left. Speaking of eagle putts, here's Mark also lining up his eagle putt. And it looks like it just stuck to his finger a little bit. One of those little jump putts that just grips a little bit too much, and now he's sitting like 30, 35 feet for a birdie. And there's Q. That was his birdie attempt, and Jimmy's kind of sitting up there for his birdie himself. This is Mark's birdie attempt from like 30, 35 feet. Once again, a little low putt just over the rim, similar to the last hole, but both, 30-foot tester putts to keep himself in it with birdies. Here's Steven's birdie to push the hole. And here's Jimmy's birdie to take the point on Q if he is to hit this. There it is. So we should still be heading even in the A-Pool match, and now Jimmy is 2 up.
Find a
You
gap.
knew I was going to pull up. I know that we're going.
He says he knows we're going to blue because he ended up landing right next to the white basket, but I just don't think he really threw it low enough or really turned it as much as he would have wanted. Here's Q, maybe a little bit of a grip lock on that backhand coming out of his hand, but still with a decent result. Kind of fought all the way up there. Here's Mark, and if I know him, he's probably throwing like his FD or something similar to the likes.
Oh, it's too much turn.
Throws it, and it does flip up and turn, and glides almost all the way through.
all the way
If he
through.
didn't catch that tree at the end there, he probably would have skipped up pretty close to the basket, but he's sitting up there for a pretty good look at a 2 and easy 3. Here's Steven throwing, I think, his Pikachu T-Bird, and pretty much parks it. Mahoney giving him the fake out, kind of yelling, tricking him a little bit that he maybe got an ace.
Who's that? That wasn't Teddy,
He gave a
was it?
little bit of a confused look there after the yell came in. Here we have Q from far right, kind of has a little bit of a window there. Forehands right through there, gives himself a putt for a par. Jimmy sitting pretty close to the white basket here. Little turnover putter approach shot. Long jump putt. Also sits himself right up there for par. And here's Mark. Steven's pretty much parked, so he has to run this and leaves it just a little bit short.
Good 2, Steven.
Kick that tree on his backswing. And this is huge right here. Big putt for par. Yes, sir. Q hits it. He was down 2, so if he missed that putt, that would have been the end of the match because Jimmy would have tapped in. He would have been up 3 with 2 to go, and that would have ended the match. So that was a really clutch putt there by Q to keep the match going. Steven takes the 2 and puts himself 1 up now with 2 to go, and Jimmy is now 2 up with 2 to go. Jimmy throws that forehand shot. Kind of lose it there, but it does finish straight in the fairway. Q nearly makes it through, but catches that tree and kicks to the right. Thinks he went OB, but did not go OB. Here's Steven one more time with that Pikachu T-Bird. Throws it nice and straight. He can really put some power into that thing and have it go nice and straight. Gets a good skip, and that is just absolutely prime position. Mahoney with the holy smokes. Can't really ask for any better position on that hole, going blue to blue here. Oh, and Mark just barely catching the right side of that tree, but flaring back in the end and giving himself a little bit of a look from the fairway. Claims he got a 3 from that same spot the other day, but who knows if he did or didn't. Here's Q with a little roller, seeing if he can put himself to the hill, and he does put himself to the hill, but just a little left side. Big shot for Mark here. Putter up the left side. Just catches like either a limb or a rock and hits himself and falls. And you can't see the basket here, but he's about 45, 50 feet short. Going to be having a real tough putt for his bird. Jimmy trying to get up and through, also catches a tree. Big shot here for Steven. If you can put this one close, that puts a lot of pressure on Mark. A little forehand up. Puts himself to about 15 feet. Here's Q from the woods. I'm not sure how his angle looked there, but I've been there before, and that angle's really tough. Doesn't look like he turned it as much as he would have wanted to. Jimmy just kind of needs to put it close and put some pressure on Q to make his putt, and pretty much what he does. See if Q can push the match on even further. Leaves it just a little low, so looks like Jimmy's going to be taking this match home. And here's Mark to also keep the match going.
Good round,
Leaves
Steven.
it just a little low and right. So that's going to wrap up both of these matches here on the blue to blue layout as Steven taps this one in. Steven's going to take down the A pool match 2-1, and Jimmy's going to take down the B pool match 3-1. And what a good match that was. So hope you guys enjoyed another week of the Monday Night Match Play League. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Leave you guys with a couple throws here on 17, and then you will get into the interviews afterwards. So take it easy, guys, and I will see you in the next one.
He called it.
Where'd it go?
I get it.
There you go.
What up, Puck Squad? Check out roback.com. Use code PARHAY15 for 15% off your order. That's PARHAY 15, 15% off your order. Check it out.
Wow. The plug right there. Huck Squad gets royalties.
Good battle out there.
Wicked good battle.
Lot of
Kinda
birdies.
what I expected. I wish I could have stayed with him on hole 16. He threw an probably one of the best shots I've ever seen on hole 16 to kind of put it away, but we're future teammates and I can't wait to have him on our roster because he's a really good player and a good addition. When I was birdieing, I was kind of taking holes, but we were also pushing holes with birdies. We threw a lot of birdies out there, honestly.
Yeah.
Between the two of us.
Well, hey.
Good battle.
Yep. Good win.
Thanks.
How'd you feel about your play?
Pretty good. Yeah, like he said, somebody birdied every hole. I was pretty clean off the tee. I threw one awful forehand into the OB, but other than that, the forehand up shots, which is pretty much all I do.
Halfway through the round, you guys were like, I think one of us has birdied every single hole so far.
I think that was true the whole time.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, don't miss a 20-footer on camera.
Right.
I think I might have missed one.
Well, it was cool to see you two battle, like Mark said, you know, future teammates, and it's good experience for both you guys to play another good 8-pooler. So, way to take it down, and first time on the vlog. Did you feel a little bit of a Huck Squad yips at the beginning? How'd you feel?
On the first tee shot, a little bit.
Yeah.
Went okay.
Yeah.
Figured
kind of just
I
brushed
can
it off
handle
after
it,
that. All right, well, good win, dude. Thanks for coming out. All right, Q, how'd it go out there?
It was good. You know, haven't been here in over a year now, so it's good to come back. And a good battle with Jimmy, and you know, it is what it is.
What do you think? What do you think you could improve on the most heading into next round?
Those short putts. I missed a couple short putts,
yeah.
But you know, am for life.
This was the first time that I've seen you in probably a couple years.
It's been a while.
I know, and you said that you've been kind of dealing with a little tendinitis in your finger.
Yeah, it's tough.
Keeping you just throwing forehands.
Yeah, those couple backhands I threw actually kind of hurt, so I was trying to limit those. Forcing the forehand, this guy showed me the ropes, so you know, the student will become the teacher eventually.
Well, it was a good battle between you guys, and before the match even happened, you guys kind of had a little bounty on each other. You wanted to do a little bit of
yes, man, I already gave it to him.
Where is it?
Cool 20, but you know.
A little side bet?
Yeah, a little side action.
Oh, there it is.
Little Andrew Jackson.
Pay your bets, though.
All right, well, nice to have you on the
Pleasure.
vlog.
Thank you,
good battle, man.
But he's getting a distortion, so he's okay with it.
Oh, what a deal.
Yeah.
Hey!
There you
So
go.
essentially, you just bought a disc for $20.
That's fine.
All right, cool, cool.
Good.
How do you feel about your match there?
I got really lucky that backhand Q couldn't backhand and had to go against forehand Jimmy. If it were a backhand matchup, it definitely would have turned out differently.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we got to see the drama line get murdered.
Yeah, you absolutely overpowered that. Like 30 feet past the white basket on 6.
He's never gone through that gap with the backhand and been long past the white green. It's never happened.
Especially
so,
in the middle of the summer.
Yeah,
like usually that
exactly.
line is a winter line,
So-
and he went and threw it in the freaking summer.
That is the hammer line now.
Well, it was nice to finally have you on the vlog. You took down the match play match.
Yeah,
And it was
that was a blast, man. Thanks for coming out too, Noah.
Yeah, man.
Walking around with us.
Take it
Appreciate
easy.
it, man.
Good win, brother.
Yeah, man. Good time.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy.
Be good, man.
Until next week. What course is that?
Jimmy, I noticed I didn't smell Tiger Bomb on you until hole 12. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, your drives weren't landing close enough for you to smell it, but I put it on hole 7 before the roller, and I've been pretty decently Tiger lubed since.